The first thing that I always, always recommend doing is setting up one client totally and completely. This is going to help take you through your Moxie account, thinking through all of the pieces that you're actually doing with your clients. Highly recommend starting with Moxie this way because then you don't get like, oh, I've pulled in, my 40 clients, dreaming if that's not the size of your business. I've pulled in all of my clients and then just realized that all of them have this one thing that isn't working. So start by putting one client and all of the information that you want to pull in with that one client. That way your Moxie gets set up alongside this one client. Pick someone, that if they get an offhanded email that you didn't mean to send, that you can be like, sorry, just testing out my new system. It's a hot tip right there for free. So we're going to set up one client. So by doing that, let's see, we'll start here in your dashboard. You can do this universal add here, add a new client. You can add in as much or as little information here as you have. Let's add in our hourly rate. You can add any notes. These are all my custom fields for this client, which we talked about. Those are in workspace settings, where if you want to make sure you have certain information for each client, you can add all that in here, which is why we're setting up one client. Like, oh yeah, every client, I need to know X, Y, and Z. I need to set up those custom fields. So here's your first client. We're going to set them up. In your client list, you could pull in your old invoices, or you could create an invoice here. You could add in a deposit if that is part of your workflow. If you add in a contact here, we are going to pull in this email and any emails that you have in your connected email here into your client inbox. Because I don't have a contact here, there's nothing in this inbox. But if I were to add an email there, it would pull in just conversations that have that email attached to it. This helps you if you are time blocking. You can say, I'm going to spend all my time on just this one client, and you would see just that client's conversations here. These are your tickets. You can go back and forth with your client. Again, this really helps with your time blocking to see like, all right, I'm going to close all of these tickets that I'm working on with this client. Here you would see the time that you have worked with this client. You could add some in here manually. You can just click here and add in, here's my 30 minutes that I work for that client. Here's where you are going to create your agreement. Again, that is proposal, contract, or quote. That's what we call an agreement. So if you go to create an agreement, you have these kind of pre-designed options. You can also start from scratch. I do not recommend starting from scratch your very first time. I would click on proposal. That's going to show you kind of the most things by default and give you a good idea of what your proposal could look like. And of course, you can customize all of that too. Forms that this client has filled out will appear here. We'll get into all of these things more in depth as well. Same with meetings. And if this client came through your sales pipeline, they are going to be in here as well. But I would add in, and you can create your projects here as well. So whatever you're working on with this client, let's add in your first projects and tasks that you're working on. I'm going to start, you'll start like project one. You can also use our project assistant. Highly recommend starting from there, because you can tell it like, hey, I have this project. It's got these 3 tasks underneath it, and here's how much I charge, and it will build out the whole thing for you. So I am going to have my project. I'm going to set up my fee type. So I'm going to say this is a fixed price, and we're going to charge a bit more for this fixed price here. And now here is my project. I can add in some tasks here as well. And you can see why setting up your first client and getting through kind of everything with that one client will be really helpful. So over the next several videos, we're really going to get into what each of these features does and how they all work together to make your business life easier.